Hi, this is Munson with Munson Music. I'm going to talk about how you can play a song by the Rolling Stones called Sympathy for the Devil. And we're going to start off with kind of that intro verse, actually, where we start on an E major chord. And randomly, the recording sounds just a hair flat. So if you're matching it with the recording, you may actually want to go to the tuners and just kind of loosen them up just a little bit to get about 20 flats flat. But the way you play E major, first finger goes to the G on the first fret, second finger on the A string on the second fret, and third finger on the D string on the second fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an E major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now randomly on the E, you may also want to kind of play around with the E7 chord, where you could kind of lift off the third finger and make that an E7. Or you could kind of take the pinky and add it in on the B string on the third fret. That's another way you can play an E7. Or you may want to gravitate to an E5 power chord, where you could play the E string and the A string of the E chord and kind of get a really heavy, powerful sound that way. Or you could even take the first finger and go to the 7th fret on the A string, third finger on the D string on the 9th fret, and kind of use that for your E5 power chord too. And then from the E on our verses, we're going to be going to a D major chord. When we play D major, first finger goes to the G string on the 2nd fret, second finger on the high E on the 2nd fret, and third finger on the B string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds like a D major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now on Ds in general, it can also be kind of cool to lift off the second finger and make that a D suspended second. Or you could even kind of take the D shape and add in the pinky on the high E on the 3rd fret and make it a D sus. That can be kind of cool while you're on Ds to kind of say some things with the D chord. Or you could use a D5 power chord, where you do the first finger on the A string 5th fret, third finger on the D string on the 7th fret, and kind of shoot for just the A and the D strings together to kind of get a D5 if you want it really powerful on that intro. And then from the D, where we go into an A major chord. When we play A major, first finger goes to the D on the 2nd fret, second finger on the G string 2nd fret, and the third finger on the B string on the 2nd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an A major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now you may also want to kind of lift off the third finger and make that a D sus or an A sus 2, which can be kind of a cool sound to play around with on the A. Or you could take the regular A major shape and add in the pinky on the 3rd fret and kind of make it an A sus or an A suspended chord. Or you could use an A5 power chord, where you play the A string and the D string together on the A chord. Or you could go to the low E string on the 5th fret, third finger on the A string on the 7th fret, and kind of work the A5 that way. So our main chord progression through our verse is kind of that E, D, A, and then back to E. And on that first verse, we end up repeating that 4 times. Now, there are a couple different ways you may want to kind of work this. You could kind of take the flat of your right hand and lay it down on top of the saddle, and even kind of work this as kind of a sneaky idea with kind of 8 downs on each one. So I'm kind of adding in some muting to make that really heavy, kind of E, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, kind of if you're counting quarter notes or eighth notes. Or a lot of times with a song like this, I like using something called a strum pattern. And one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this is down, down, up, up, down, up. So we took the E and just tried that a lot. You'd have down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down. So we tried that through our verse progression. We'd have the E, down, up, down, D, down, up, down, A, down, up, down, E, down, up, down, because of the drum intro, actually, I would really kind of gravitate towards something called a 16th note strum pattern. And what I mean by that is if you're tapping your foot to the beat, right now we're dividing that beat into 2 parts with our down, down, up, up, down, up. 1, 2, 1, 2, and that's called an 8th note. What a 16th note is where you divide that beat into 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And one of my favorite 16th note strum patterns is long down, 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 up, up, down, down, up, down, up. And what I mean by that is if you take the E and do a down for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what you're doing on the first beat. Then on the second beat, you're doing a down on 1, down on 3, up on 4. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down, 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 down. And then on the third beat, you're doing an up on 2, down on 3. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 up, down, 1 up, down, 1 up, down. And then on the last beat, you're going down, up, right along with the 1, 2, 3, 4. So down, up, down, 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 down. So all together, you got down. have the E, down, down, up, down, 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 B, down, 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 we start on a B or a B major or B7 chord. And so you could kind of play B7 where you do first finger on the D string first fret, second finger on the A string on the second fret, third finger on the G string second fret, and the pinky on the high E on the second fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a B7 chord and it sounds really, really nasty. Now you also may gravitate towards a B major chord, which you could do as kind of a second fret bar, and third finger over the D, G, and B, and kind of work it that way as kind of a B major idea. Or you could use a B5 power chord, where you do the first finger on the A string second fret, third finger on the D string on the fourth fret, and kind of strum just the A and the D strings together. So you can kind of work that 8 down idea is kind of the B, kind of using the power chords even. Or if you're kind of digging on the down, down, up, you could have the B7 down, up, down, B7 down, down, up, down, B down, up, down, B down, up, down, B7 down, up, down, B7 down, up, down, B down, up, down, B down, up, down. Or if you're digging on the 16th, you could have B7 down, up, down, down, up, down, B7 down, up, down, down, B then we'll be going into our next verse. And our next verse doesn't last quite as long. But a lot of times with a song like this too, something else I like to add is bass notes. And a lot of times on that first down of the down, down, up, down, up, you can throw in a bass note for the chord. So on the E, you'd have the low E string for the bass. On the D, you'd have the D for the bass. On the A, you'd have the A for the bass. When we get to the B7, you'd have the A for the bass. On the B7, the bass, down, up, down, up. So we tried that second verse with a bass down, up, down, up. You'd have E with low E bass down, up, down, to the B bass down, up, down, A with A bass down, up, down, to the low E bass down, up, down, to the low E bass down, up, down, to the D bass down, up, down, A with an A bass down, up, down, to the low E bass down, up, down, to the low E bass down, up, down, to the D bass down, up, down, A with an A bass down, up, down, to the low E bass down, up, down. Then we got an extra E at the end. Idea and tried it with our next chorus. We'd have B7 with an A bass down, B7 with an A bass down, down, B low E bass down, down, B low E bass down, down, B7 with an A bass down, down, B7 with an A bass down, down, B low E bass down, down, B low E bass down, down. And then from there, we'll be going into our third verse. Now you could add basses to your 16th pattern too and make it a bass down, down, up, down, down, up, or bass, bass, down, down, up, down, down, up, or bass, bass, down, down, up, bass, down, down, cool variations. So we tried that on our next verse. We'd have the E, D with the D bass, A with an A bass, E with low E bass, E with low E bass, into our next chorus. Then we'd have our B7, B7, E low E bass, E bass, 7A bass, 7A bass, E low E bass, E bass. And then from there, then we'll be going into our next verse. And what you may want to do actually is kind of take all these ideas actually and then kind of find a way that kind of works for you. Or if you know other strum patterns that would work, feel free to kind of take this lesson and kind of embellish it in any way you want to. Or other places to play the chords can be kind of cool too. So feel free to take my lesson and run with it, kind of find a way that works for you. Or if you know other places to play these chords, our next chorus. So we're back on B, B, E major, B7, B, and from there, then we're going into our next verse. So we're back to our so we back on the B, B, E, from there, then we go into kind of our outro band, which is like a little piece of the verse. Basics of how you can strum through Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones. So good luck!